Welcome to the Sports Degos with Salty and Josh.
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
This is Chris Hansen from Bleacher Report, and you're listening to Salty and Josh, the Sports Degos.
I gotta clean my garage. That sucks.
They have a radio show you can't refuse.
Are we haters? I don't consider myself a hater, because in sports, you never want your rival to win. Shut your mouth. I want to do some talking once in a while, huh? You're killing me over here. You're killing me over here.
Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a guitar.
Hi, this is Russell Baxter from ProFootballGuru.com. You're listening to Salty and Josh, the Sports Degos.
Hey, Murph! Guess what time it is? It's time for the greatest podcast / live radio show you can possibly listen to in any given week in the month of March in the year of 2013. That show is called the Sports Degos. And Murph, welcome to the Dego Dungeon. How do you do today, sir?
Sonny, I'm doing fantastic. Spring has almost sprung. Baseball's in the air. I got to enjoy the evening out with the 9-year-old NBA A's who are looking to defend their title from the earlier spring championship of 2012. It's good. I'm lovely. Everything's great. Ready to talk some sports. Glad to be back in the Dego Dungeon. Thanks for having me.
Now, Murph, are you coaching or are you playing with those 9-year-olds?
No, I play. I make sure that I always shave and then have Capri Sun and oranges when I show up to the field. That way
Good.
I look like a big... Yes, I coach. I coach a 9-year-old team, and I coach a 7-year-old baseball team, and love every minute of it. Fantastic.
That's fantastic, Murph. I'm very glad you do that. It's a blessing, isn't it, Murph, to be able to learn sports, play sports on your own, and then as you're young, grow older, you can turn around and pay that forward, if you will, correct?
It absolutely is a blessing, and it's a lot of fun, as being, obviously we're sports guys, and obviously sports is ingrained into all that we do, but it's really cool to get out there on the field and to work with the kids, and because, the cool thing about sports, you learn a lot more than just sports. You learn a lot more than just the fundamentals of the game. You learn a lot more than just the mechanics. And you learn a lot of life lessons. You learn how to be good teammates. You learn how to be accountable to one another. You learn how to respect an opponent. You learn how to not only win but lose gracefully. Lots of good life lessons that go on in between the white lines. And so absolutely it's a blessing, and I look forward to it every year.
Murph, as you know, we're expecting our first child. And the other day, we went to the ultrasound, and we're sitting there in the room, and the lady doing the stuff, she's rubbing that weird thing around my wife's belly, and you can see this creepy skeleton-type figure inside your wife, and you're thinking, what the heck, is this the thing on Spaceballs, that alien who comes out and says, hello, my baby, hello, my honey, So she's running it around, and she's like, this is the skull, and this is the eye socket, and this is his femur. I'm like, yo, lady, there's only one body part that I care to either see or hopefully not see. So let's get to that part already, huh? So she keeps going and stuff, and then she goes, oh, it's a boy. There's his, You know what, Murph. And I could tell you I couldn't be happier. So my next question was, hey, lady, can a kid catch a football at like 4 weeks, 5 weeks? How soon can I start strapping a helmet on this young little pup and get him out in the field and stuff, So, Murph, I'm stoked. You're stoked. It's the Sports Dego Show. This is the best part of the week, I think. What else would you do, right? Talking sports. Listening to stuff about the Raiders. Listening to, a couple loud Italians do what they do best. Run their mouth, pretend they know what they're talking about. Anyway, if you're out there listening live, the phone number is 971-2702-007. And Murph, we've reached an important milestone today. I'll give you one guess. Do you think you could guess it?
is this the first Degos show that has gone into double digits?
Could be. This is the first Degos show that I haven't had to write the phone number down to remember what it is.
Oh!
Thank you. I have so many people I'd like to thank. First, my mom and dad for creating me and giving me the opportunity to have a memory to remember something as important as a phone number. Again, that number is 971-270-2007. I even said it with the correct phone number rhythm. Did you ever see that Seinfeld episode, Murph, where they left the phone number and it was like, hey, call us back at 512346213. It's like, no, there's proper phone rhythm, right? You have to have proper phone rhythm. It's not something you learn, though. It's,
There's a certain, I believe that's called iambic pentameter.
Hey, Murph, nobody cares how smart you are, huh?
Sorry.
That was pretty big words, though. Iambic pentameter. That's pretty good, Murph. That's pretty good.
Google it during the break.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm scared to Google anything. You know how my backwoods internet up here in Oregon works and stuff, If I breathe on my modem, it shuts off.
Might shut down the show.
Yeah. We want to keep it rolling. Murph, little different format tonight. And I'm stoked. Last week, we had an epiphany, Murph. An epiphany. Like our names were Tiffany, we had this epiphany. The epiphany was this. We're huge Raider honks. Probably, I'm the worst in my town, I know that. And I know you're pretty bad as well. You're probably the worst in your town because you're out there in Tennessee, and all they like out there in Tennessee is, moonshine and their cousins. Anyway,
yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we're like.
So we're pretty big Raider honks, and we love talking about it. And so after the show last week, we're like, man, that was so much fun. Why don't we have a Raiders segment every week? And all of a sudden, it was like the light went on in both of our heads, and we were like,
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, kind of makes sense, huh? Kind of makes sense. So this week, here's the format. After we introduce the topics, we'll go to commercial break. We'll come back. We'll look at the segment called Shut Your Fat Mouth, the whopping historical fact of the week, and then also the fat of the week. We'll go to a second commercial break, and when we come back from that commercial break, Murph, why don't you introduce the new segment we're going to do? It's called...
Yes?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I get to say it?
Yeah, you get to say it. Come on, you busted out that intellectual words a couple seconds ago, and now you're at the lunch.
Hey,
let's try it again.
I'm okay. Right,
here we go.
I'm on it.
Here we go.
All right.
We're going to go to commercial break after we announce the topics. We'll come back. We'll do Shut Your Fat Mouth. We'll do the whopping historical fact of the week. And then we'll also do the fat of the week. We'll go to a second commercial break, and we'll come back, and the new segment will be called...
Raiders Reportare.
A reportare. Now, Murph, what is a reportare? Is that something you get at an Italian delicacy?
No, it is something you get only on the Sports Degos, and that, sir, is the Raiders Report. The Italian word for report is reportare. We were trying to come up with something clever, but, there's already Behind the Shield. There's, there's all the Raiders Report and the Raiders Review, and they're all the R's and R's. So we are the Sports Degos. We are proud of our Italian heritage. So from now on, our Raiders segment will be called the Raiders Reportare.
Raiders Reportare. And Josh, you got to roll your R's, Murph, if you want to do it. I'm talking to two different people, Josh and Murph, at the same time. Raiders Reportare with a special guest. We had so much fun last week talking to him. We're bringing him back on again and might bring him on every week if he's up for it. Pedro on Twitter. He is at Pride Oakland. Going to be a fun time. Going to talk Raiders. A third commercial break, Murph, coming back and hitting our news stories. The news stories for this show, for this week, are as follows. Vince Young making a comeback? Here's the problem. When nobody really even knows when you left, and then you're going to make a comeback, that should tell you everything you need to know right there.
That's tough.
Kobe. Vino? Really? We're calling this guy wine? And on second thought, what's this guy doing on Twitter all of a sudden? Is he preparing for his career after basketball? Murph, this is your favorite topic of the week. I know that for a fact. The golf boys. That's all I need to say.
Yeah.
Oregon State uniforms, good thing, bad thing. Good thing for collegiate athletics in general, amateur sports. 54-year-old Tom Wright, the Mormon knuckleball thrower. He wants to play baseball. Is this a pipe dream, or is this actually something we could see? And Murph, we are going to speed through this show like nobody's business because, Murph, we have done our homework. I took a day off of work for specifically this show to prep for the last topic. We are going to delve into the life of Philip Rivers. We are going to dissect every aspect of his life. We're going to look at his stats by the year, by the game. We're going to look at who he's dated, if he's married, if he has children. I am in love with Philip Rivers, and I cannot wait to talk about Philip Rivers. Murph, are you stoked for our Philip Rivers segment tonight?
Oh, I've already contracted a tattoo artist to come up with a killer design of not only depicting the football talent, but depicting the good man, the one that we should all strive to be, and that is one Philip Rivers, quarterback of the San Diego Chargers. I couldn't even sleep last night. I was so excited about getting to this topic tonight and really talking about the man. And, he is truly a beacon of light in the NFL. And, I certainly hope that we as NFL fans recognize how good it is. Just like when Michael Jordan was playing basketball, and we looked at this guy and we recognized this is amazing. This is something we'll never see again. I hope that when we watch Philip Rivers play on Sundays, we as NFL fans recognize that we're never going to see anything like this ever again.
Nothing.
And really respect it. So anyway, I'm getting too deep into it already. I'm just so excited, and so I can't wait. So wait definitely towards the end of the show, folks, and we're going to get into it.
And we as Raiders fans should feel privileged. Because, yeah, he doesn't play on our team, and we've been wallowing with that misery for years, but at least he's in our division. We get to see him twice a year. That's a blessing. That's a true
really
blessing.
Is. If they're playing a late game, I get my kids up out of bed so they could see it.
Oh, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, that's the show format. Murph, what are you drinking tonight?
Are you sure you don't want to go first?
Go ahead, Murph.
Sonny, I've had a pretty decent run here, going 2 weeks in a row with first Boddington's, the Cream of Manchester, followed that up with a strong performance of Guinness Black Lager, and today, Sonny, I'm going for the three-peat in our weekly beer off. I'm going with my second all-time favorite beer. They call it the one and only, imported from England, and that is Newcastle Brown Ale in a frosty, super frosty, froze my fingers to the bone when I was pouring that bottle of Newcastle in there and just enjoying it. I posted up a picture of it on our Facebook and on our Twitter next to my A's bobblehead doll. And I'm telling you, Sonny, this stuff, it's refreshing, it's full-bodied, it's flavorful, it's cold, good stuff. Newcastle, the one and only brown ale.
Really? That's what you're going to go with tonight.
That is what I'm going to go with tonight.
A beer that's not even from our country.
It's from the country that we fought to make our country.
You're going from a country.
I went Irish the week before, and then I went English the week before that. Apparently, I'm a UK beer fan.
Apparently. And this is where I'm going to kill you tonight. Because we talked earlier, and you thought you had me.
Oh,
but
after
further thought, I destroy you tonight, Murph.
No way.
Do you remember? You remember when? Well, we won't go there. Murph, tonight I'm drinking an all-American beer. I'm drinking a beer so rooted in American tradition, they alter the can. to play into our sports fandom. I'm drinking a beer so rooted in sports. You see it at every sporting event. The outside of the case is often made to represent different sporting events, different sports in general. Murph, I don't have a frosty glass that I froze in my freezer. No, Murph, I have a can, I have beer, and I have my Raiders coaster. And tonight, Murph, I'm drinking Miller Lite.
Awesome.
And Murph,
you know what? I will give you props for taking your American angle, and well played, sir. And I'm assuming that can, that speedy can, that Raider DB 4240 can, by punching that tab with your key, allowing that liquid to flow fast. I'm sure that's an excellent angle, and that's lovely. But man, going toe to toe with Newcastle, come on, no way. 3-peat, baby. Me and Pat Riley.
No. You have a fancy beer. You have a fancy. Oh, hey guys, we're in college. Oh, it's been a tough week.
No, nobody.
Let's go to the bar.
Let's
go to the bar and get some Newcastle, bro. Oh, bro, let's take a picture of this and put it on Instagram, bro. It's Newcastle, bro. No, sorry. I'm freaking grabbing Miller Lite. American beer. Done. I win. Maybe we should have a contest.
I was going to say we should encourage our tens.
If whoever gets the more likes on their beer should win the contest. And knowing how many likes or how many, followers we have on Twitter would probably be like a 1-0 type competition. Maybe it'll come down to Pedro. It might come down to Pedro or Uncle Mark.
It's going to be a soccer match.
So, if you want to weigh in on who's drinking the better beer tonight, you have Sonny and his can, 24-ounce can. Let me throw that in there as well.
Now you didn't.
Let me throw that in there as well.
Boy. All right,
24 ounces of American Miller Lite and his Raiders coaster versus Murph and his Newcastle preppy beer from London, England, or whatever it's from. Weigh in. Facebook.com/thesportsdegos. You can also find it if you route yourself to the Degos. Thesportsdegos.com, Murph. We have our own website now. It's under construction. It's under construction. It's like when the Italians first came to America, right? They didn't have a lot of opportunity. So, our site kind of looks like a bare bones apartment right now of a newly off the boat Dego. So, you can go there. You can find links to our Facebook, links to Twitter, links to previous stories we've talked about. But our beer is posted on the Sports Degos Facebook page. Go there. Whoever gets the more likes will be the beer winner of tonight. We're going to head to a commercial break and coming right back with Shut Your Fat Mouth, whopping historical fact of the week, and the fat of the week. You're listening to the Sports Degos.
Hi, this is Russell Baxter from ProFootballGuru.com. You're listening to
Sonny Murph,
the Sports Degos. They have a radio show you can't refuse. Hi, this is Russell Baxter from ProFootballGuru.com. You're listening to
Sonny Murph,
the Sports Degos. They have a radio show you can't refuse.
Welcome back to the Sports Degos. Sonny and Murph are your hosts. Phone number to call in is 971-270-2007. You can find us at facebook.com/thesportsdegos. You can also find us on our newly founded website, thesportsdegos.com. I am your host, Sonny, and I have a great taste in my mouth, and I don't feel as full. Murph?
Less full, and it tastes great.
Oh, nice
Remember
job.
those commercials? Hey, you remember
nice
those commercials?
Job. Yeah, those are the best. That's what I'm saying. What kind of
When
commercials do you
Madden
see for
used to come
Newcastle?
breaking through the wall at the very end and all that. That was great.
What kind of commercials do you see for Newcastle?
They don't need commercials because the product sells itself.
Shut up. Ridiculous.
Saying, man.
Oh, by the way, I'm beating you 1-0.
Nuh-uh.
The Sports Degos liked mine better.
Oh, okay. Never mind. The Sports Degos like mine too.
No, they didn't.
They do now. Oh, and they don't like yours either.
Oh, what? All right, Murph. We got to get going here. We got to get moving. We want to talk about Phillip Rivers, man. We want to talk about Phillip Rivers. Murph,
all right.
Who has the shut your fat mouth of the week? Go for it.
Shut your fat mouth of the week goes to one NFL owner. That's right. We're talking about the owner of the Carolina Panthers, one Jerry Richardson. You know, Sonny, we've heard multiple times over a handful of years about owners with hardships. We heard about it even a little bit with the Raiders. Having trouble with the attendance. Of course, the Raiders have such a big marketing presence with memorabilia and things, merchandise period for the Raiders that they typically don't fall into the same dire straits as some of the other franchises have. But certainly the Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We've heard a lot of owners complain about how tough it is for them to make money. And so one of those owners, one Jerry Richardson of the Carolina Panthers, gets shut your fat mouth of the week this week because this man had been crying hardship for a long time. He's been crying about how tough it was for his team to make money. He's been crying about the payroll. He's a lot of things. I'm looking at this story is in reference to a Deadspin article that posted up. You guys, you can look at it at Deadspin. Just search Jerry Richardson or Panthers owner. I'm sure it'll come up. But here's why he gets to shut your fat mouth. All this bitching and all this moaning and all this griping about the hardships of the Carolina Panthers, and they made, guess how much money, Sonny, last year? Actually, not just last year, but over the past 2 years in profit, not in total revenue generated, but just strictly profitability. Take a wild guess at how much money the Carolina Panthers have made.
Well, obviously, if he's complaining, probably not very much. And I know those guys make a lot of money and stuff, but so I'm going to say, based upon his cost of living and all that kind of stuff, maybe he made $5 million, $10 million, right, to warrant such complaining. And
even then, I mean, that's really, you would think, right?
Oh,
$5 million, $10 million, yeah. That would be low for an NFL team, but for real, average Joe six-pack like you and me, $5 million, and I'm retiring the next year. But no, not $5 million, not $10 million, not 50, 75, not 100, but $112 million in profitability over the past 2 years for the Carolina Panthers. Jerry Richardson, shut your big fat mouth.
112 million profit, and he's complaining. Man, this guy should go work for the Oakland Athletics. Jeez, come on, give me a break.
Well, and what's funny is that these NFL documents, got leaked, and is why he got caught on this thing. And really, I think that it's going to open up, a potential can of worms, because once the Players Association, once guys like DeMaurice Smith get wind of this stuff, I think that we're going to see potentially, they just came up with a new collective bargaining agreement. We're not going to have to worry about, any kind of a strike or a lockout or anything like that coming for a long, long time. But that said, I mean, how's that look? How's that look? This guy's crying about player salaries, and yet they're pulling down this kind of jack. So, and this is an unhealthy organization, grant you. Yeah, we're not talking. Okay. This isn't the Dallas Cowboys. This isn't the New York Giants. This isn't the Denver Broncos. This is a team that's struggling. So imagine if Jerry Jones cracks open his bank account, or imagine if, Bolin or Robert Kraft or one of these guys cracks open their books. My gosh, they're making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, I'm sure.
Yeah, just shut your fat mouth. Hey, don't forget about this, huh? It's the time. It's the time. It's the time for the whopping historical fact of the day, huh? And this is brought to you by Ravioli and Fettuccine Alfredo.
It's funny. You're a funny guy. You mean the way I talk.
Murph, back in 1999, the New York despised Yankees lost one of the greatest. This guy is a true Dego with a phenomenal Dego name. He was 84 years old, and he passed away on this day in 1999. That man's name, Murph, his born name, Giuseppe Paolo DiMaggio. You don't get any more Dego than that. He, however, though, is most known as Jolton Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper, Murph, who played his entire 13-year career for the New York Yankees. And Murph, most notably known. How many games, Murph?
56.
56 game hit streak still stands today.
I don't think it'll ever get broken.
One of the greatest records in all of sports, if you ask me. One
Absolutely.
of the greatest records in all of sports. He was a 3-time MVP winner. He was an all-star. Check this out. In each of his 13 seasons, he never took a year off. From his rookie year to the final year he played, he was an all-star. I wonder how many other players can say that in all sports. Every year they played, they were an all-star. During his tenure with the Yankees won 10 American League pennants and 9 World Series championships. When he retired, Murph, he was 5th in career home runs with 361, 6th in career slugging percentage at .579. He was inducted in the Baseball Hall of Fame in '55, and he was voted the sport's greatest living player in a poll taken in 1969. Murph, no doubt, Joe DiMaggio was not only one of the greatest Yankees ever to play the game, and not only one of the greatest baseball players to play the game, but just a great sportsman in general. Joe DiMaggio, you know, still has the win streak. And one of the great things about baseball, Murph, that I've always loved is that the records and the stats, those mean something in baseball. You know, Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds and these steroid guys, they kind of ruined that a little bit by juicing, right? And, you know, whatever side of the fence you fall on in regards to how you feel about them ruining it, whether it promoted baseball, it took away from baseball, whatever. Jolton Joe, for the most part that we know, did it the right way. His record still stands. Is he the greatest Yankee ever? And when you think of the Yankees, I mean, as much as we hate them because they buy everybody and stuff, you know, and yada, yada, yada.
They take all of our A's players.
Yeah, they steal the A's players and stuff like that because they make, you know, $2 an hour in Oakland and they go over there and make $1 million an hour. Is Jolton Joe the greatest? And if he's not, who's better? He has to be top 3, top 5, right?
He's definitely top 3. You know, it's tough when you look at a storied franchise like the Yankees, and yeah, we don't like them, and especially, you know, when Steinbrenner bought them, and you know they became what they became, and they just basically bullied around the rest of MLB with their payroll, and really still do it to a certain extent. But other teams are as guilty, just like, you know, the Boston Red Sox are as guilty as that as well. So, but anyways. So, but the Yankees, though, with such a historic franchise, and, you know, I'm, again, not a fan, but I have Yankee memorabilia hanging up in my home. I love the mystique and the imagery and everything that the Yankees, you know, kind of represented back in the, really for about a three-decade period when you look at guys like DiMaggio and Gehrig and Mantle and, you know, Yogi Berra and Whitey Ford and Billy Martin and all those, you know, all the greats that came through New York and played there. So when you look at those players, you know, I think number one's got to be Babe Ruth. I mean, period, slam dunk. That's got to be the number one Yankee of all time. Has got to be Babe Ruth. The next one I'm going to say has got to be DiMaggio. The only one that I could think of that would come close would be Lou Gehrig. You know, some people want to say Roger Maris, but really when you look at Roger Maris historically, he really didn't put up the numbers that like DiMaggio did consistently. And he also transcended, or DiMaggio did, in a way that Maris really didn't. Maris was kind of an introvert. Maris never really had the, you know, he was outside of baseball, he wasn't a huge name. Now, after that, then you got the Mick. The Mick is the only one left. I would say, you know, Mickey Mantle, while he did transcend the sport in some way, he didn't do it to the level of DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio was married to Marilyn freaking Monroe. That's like the same equivalent of being married to, I don't know, pick a supermodel nowadays. I don't know. I mean, maybe
Justin
like Gisele
Bieber.
Bündchen.
Oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe the equivalent of like Tom Brady being married to Gisele Bündchen. I don't know. Maybe, but this was an actress, so this is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a big name, attractive actress. I don't know.
Angelina Jolie.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. Angelina Jolie. So
not that I'm attracted to her, in case my wife is listening, but that's what society.
No, but there you go. But what I'm saying, but a high-profile, attractive actress. Okay, that like one of the biggest actresses there is. I agree. Okay, so Angelina Jolie. So let's pretend that Derek Jeter is married to Angelina Jolie. That's the kind of the same thing that this represented when DiMaggio was asked Marilyn Monroe to marry him. Now, unfortunately, she passed away like 4 days after or something. But and here's another just a little kicker to that story. After that, DiMaggio never married again. He was like 38 years old, something like that, when she died. Never married again. So that kind of So anyways, but all that said, is he a top 3 greatest? Yes, and I don't think there's anybody other than Babe that trumps him. I don't think there's anybody other than Mick that challenges him. And so yes, I definitely put him up there. And and the other thing too. He's not only a Dego, but he's a Northern California Dego. He comes from the same
best
place
ever.
He comes from the same place we do. So I'm a big fan. And sadly he passed away as you mentioned in 1999. But another cool thing I thought about DiMaggio, thinking back to those days, watching him come out at Yankee Stadium or All-Star games or whatever, he was always announced, as you mentioned, as the greatest living ball player ever, and had that in his contract that was the way he had to be introduced. Aside from any other title or any other award he has won throughout his career, he wanted to be known as the greatest living baseball player ever, and at the time he certainly was.
ESPN I just posted the link on our website, thesportsdegos.com, listed a top 50 greatest Yankees of all time. And I believe it was done, let me see if I can get a date here, it was done in 2011. So not too long ago. Not too much has changed since then. Number 1, Babe Ruth. I don't think anybody can make too much of an argument there. Just the Babe. That's all you need to know. Number 2, Mickey Mantle. I think if anybody were to be above Joe, it'd be Mickey. His stats speak for himself, Stats speak for himself.
Stats speak for themselves. Yeah.
Number 3, Lou Gehrig.
See, I don't know.
Lou
About that one.
Gehrig. Who knows? Who knows? Number 4. This is interesting now. Yogi Berra.
No, see that I don't agree with at all.
Yogi Berra, 3-time MVP with the Yankees. Looking at his stats here, he was only there. 50 to 56 was his peak when he played 142 games per season. But he only hit, or his first year was 295. But then he hit 364, then 502 with 27 homers and 108 RBIs.
Does it have his lifetime stats there? Because DiMaggio had a lifetime average of 325. It had over 2,200 hits, 361 home runs, and over 1,500 RBIs.
Yeah, I don't got his lifetime stats here. I just got the list. So, Babe Ruth, number 1, Mantle 2, Gehrig 3, Berra 4. Now, here's where it's really interesting.
They put Jeter ahead of DiMaggio.
Number 5, Derek Jeter.
Gosh bless it. And I was almost going to mention Derek Jeter, and he deserves to be in this list.
Jeter?
But not
How much of that
DiMaggio.
Newcastle you drinking?
No, not ahead of, but no, he is. I mean, think about it, dude. I mean, absolutely over the recent Yankee run. I mean, he is the epitome of that team and deserves to be in maybe even the top 10 list of Yankees, but ahead of DiMaggio is stupid. That's dumb.
Yeah, I would agree. And then number 6 is Joe DiMaggio, right ahead of Whitey Ford. So, and who knows? I think this stat this list was done by a lot of guys in New York, and then along with ESPN sports writers and stuff like that. So it's up for debate, but man, you can't argue. The guy went 13 for 13, played 13 years, All-Star 13 years.
He won 9 World Series.
How can you battle
with that?
He was a
3-time AL MVP. 9 World Series. Jeter's got 3.
I hear you, Murph. I hear you. Moving forward.
Fact all right.
of the week.
Says he's fat.
Who's fat? Shifting gears a little bit, getting into the NFL. Something happened a couple of weeks ago. The man who's going to get our fat of the week made a statement. And first, let's get into the numbers. Let's talk some stats. Sonny, would you consider 6'5", 246 fat?
6'5", 246. Depends on this person's place in life. If they play sports, I'm assuming they're in shape. If they don't play sports, I'm assuming they might be on the hefty side.
All right. Yes, we are talking about an athlete, so I will give you that. So we're going to assume that this person is in relatively good physical shape, and this person thinks that they're a wide receiver. Now, I ask you this. In comparison to another big wide receiver, probably the biggest wide receiver there is in the league, at least the first name that came to my mind. If you guys can think of somebody else, tweet it, post it on Facebook, let me know. But I'm talking about Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson is 6 feet, 5 inches tall, and 236 pounds. Now, would you say, is that other guy at 6'5", 246, is he fat for a wide receiver?
Easily. Hands down.
I would agree. So, Jared Cook, former tight end, and I say former because he's most likely going to be gone in the free agency pool. Jared Cook Jr., tight end for the Tennessee Titans, wanted to be franchised or paid in free agent contract from the Titans as a wide receiver based on the fact that he played a lot of snaps out lined up in the slot. So I ask you.
What?
Yes.
Come on.
Jared Cook, you are fat of the week at 246. Not because you're fat, but you're fat for a wideout. You are listed as a tight end. You played a tight end in college. Marcel Reese lines up in the slot too. You don't see him asking for wide receiver money.
And he's a lot better than Jared Cook.
And he's better than Jared Cook. This was a goofy way for Jared Cook to put up his middle finger to the Tennessee Titans. This was a move probably by the agent. And I think this was a chicken crap, and I'm hedging my word there. That's a chicken crap way to go out about doing business.
Murph, you're hot.
I'm telling you, man. I think that was, living outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and being a fan of this team, I do like to see the Tennessee Titans do good, and I like to root for them, and they're struggling right now. And he was one of their better players on offense. I don't think it was used correctly, but he was definitely one of their better players. And for him to do that and to pull that crap on him, I just thought that was really kind of lame. And I'm going to throw just a couple of – I won't go drown in the stats, but here's his numbers, okay? We'll just look at the past 2 years. In 2011 and 2012, again, I understand he wasn't used ideally. He's not used like Gronkowski and Hernandez is. But still, for a tight end, 2011, 49 receptions. 2012, 44 receptions. In 2011, he had 759 total yards. In 2012, he had 523 total yards. In 2011, he had 3 touchdowns. And in 2012, he had 4 touchdowns. He fumbled the ball 3 times in the past 2 years, losing all 3 of those fumbles. Does that sound like the kind of guy that you're going to sign as a top-notch wideout, or at a minimum franchise tag him at wideout money? Jared Cook, congratulations. You got fat of the week. You almost got shut your fat mouth. You almost went 2 for 2. What an idiot.
2 for 2.
Fact of the week.
Jared Cook, shut your fat mouth. You're not even going to be on the Tennessee Titans next year, and you're going to demand to be paid like a wide receiver. I've never heard of anything as stupid as long until I heard about Murph and his Newcastle beer. Anyway,
it's good.
Sports Degos. Check us out, sportsdegos.com, Facebook / the Sports Degos. We'll be back with the Raiders repertoire with our special guest, Pedro.
This is Chris Hansen from Bleacher Report, and you're listening to
Sonny
and
Murph.
the Sports Degos. This is Chris Hansen from Bleacher Report, and you're listening to
Sonny
and
Murph.
the Sports Degos.
All right, Murph, welcome back. I hope you've enjoyed your commercial break. It's not long enough, if you ask me, but it's something we got to do.
We got to come up with a second sponsor of the Sports Degos, just so we have enough time to go pee during the break.
That would be lovely, Murph. That
would be awesome.
It'd be nice to put together like a, 2-minute segment for commercial, but really it's just a pee break. But Murph, right now we want to jump into Raider talk. We're huge Raider honks. We love our Raiders. We want to do Raiders repertoire with our special guest, Pedro. How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Appreciate you coming back on. Had such a good time last week. We thought we'd try to hit you up and go ahead and discuss some more Raider talk.
Sounds cool, guys. I really appreciate it and looking forward to it. I enjoyed it a lot, too.
Right on. At Pride Oakland. You can find Pedro on Twitter. Pedro, first question. Is McClain gone?
Definitely. He's going to be gone. Don't see why the team should keep him. I will go ahead and say this. When we drafted him, I did think he was talented coming out of college, and I still do. But just when you got a guy that doesn't want to cooperate, sorry if I said that wrong, kind of stuttering here. If you don't want a guy to, be part of the team, why keep him? He doesn't want to work with the team. He doesn't want to work with the defense. You don't want that type of player. He doesn't want to be a Raider, If you don't want to be a Raider, as a fan, I don't care how talented you are, and I don't care, if I like your physical attributes, I don't want you to be part of the team. And he has played poorly, gives up on plays too much, but the talent is there. Even with Jamarcus Russell, I know talking about Jamarcus Russell probably scares fans, but even with Jamarcus Russell,
I like his talent. On you right now.
Yeah, I like his talent, but Jamarcus, same thing as Rolando, and they're both from Alabama, so just cut the guy.
I couldn't agree with you more, and it's a shame because I was too. I thought, oh man, we finally got our big body in the middle of the field that's going to be able to help play the run, play shallow zones, all that good stuff. And other than our Madden game, he's really stunk it up. So I'm with you. I'll be glad to see him gone. Move on to another guy who I think does want to be a Raider, and he demonstrated that this week by restructuring his contract. He added 2 extra years for it, allowed the Raiders to free up an extra $6 million in salary cap. I think this guy is definitely underrated as far as being one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's certainly one of the fastest safeties in the NFL. And really, once we get the secondary and the corners really figured out, I think he's really gonna have a breakout. What is that? Obviously, Tyvon. I'm talking about Tyvon Branch. Obviously, he's demonstrated that he wants to be a Raider. He wants to be around for a long time. Are there more moves besides this that the Raiders are going to do to be able to free up that money to help out that secondary?
Oh yeah, Tyvon definitely wants to be a Raider. You could see it when he plays out there. He misses an assignment. One of his teammates misses one. You could always see him getting mad at himself or getting mad at his teammate. I love Tyvon. Great player, great team player. Helped them a lot. His base salary basically dropped from $6 million to like $700,000 range, which is like incredible, helping out the team a lot for this coming year. I think Raiders are definitely gonna make some more moves. You got the cutting, like Rolando McClain coming up. We still got that Palmer thing that should happen. Palmer should take a pay cut, and I believe he might, or at least a reconstruction of some sort again, to help a little bit on the salary. And then the Breezel, that helped too. And a player that's not talked about, that maybe people don't see him, because his contract or whatever, but another player that could be reconstructed in some sort of way or take a little pay cut that, in my opinion, should, because the salary is up there, is Michael Huff. They got players they could work with, definitely. They're already in good shape. People, people say, we're still in bad shape salary cap wise, but
hey, the only person that's in bad calorie shape around here is Sonny.
Right now, oh man, we're way better than last year, and that's just the plain facts. This year we have breathing room to re-sign, maybe get more talent, because last year we had to sign guys like Shante Spencer and stuff like that. This year we'll be able to make a little more impact in the free agency market. So I see the Raiders making some moves as far as re-signing their own players and getting some players from the free agency market. So yeah, definitely there should be more news soon.
Well, you talked a little bit about, Palmer restructuring his contract, and I agree with you, and I certainly hope that he understands that that's going to be a necessity for him to stay around. He says he wants to stay around, but that's kind of what you expect to hear. But you and I were talking a little bit on Twitter earlier, and I think the Raiders can go one of two directions, and I think either one is interesting, and I'd like to get your opinion on which way you think they'll go. If the Raiders decide – or if they do restructure Palmer's contract and decide to ride with him next year as a starting quarterback, I think that at a lower round, maybe in a third round, they could look to draft his replacement. I like Tyler Bray out of Tennessee a lot. I think that he's a big-bodied guy. He's got a big arm. He fits the Raider offensive mentality. I think that he'd be a good guy to learn behind Palmer for a couple of years and then eventually take the starting role. So we could stay with the true pocket passer, the big arm type quarterback, or if Pryor is going to be the future, then you look to a guy that you could bring in to either one, manage the offense in front of him and allow Pryor to learn from, or assume Pryor's going to be your starter, but yet have that veteran there to back you up. There's a couple of guys I like. I like Josh Johnson, an Oakland native, a guy that I think is underrated in the free agency pool, and we're going to talk about him later, but I've always liked Vince Young. I know he's probably not the mental example you want for your young quarterback in Terrell Pryor, but it's from a physical perspective, he can run, and Josh Johnson can as well, run the same offense. And I think that that's a problem when you have Pryor and Palmer, is that they can't really run the same offense. They're two completely different skill sets. So what do you think? Do you see him going with the true pocket passer, or do you see them shifting to more of the mobile quarterback?
Well, let's see. Well, as far as Palmer goes, I definitely think they will do what they have to do to keep him. Dennis Allis has come out and said, we're definitely pulling for Palmer to be that guy for this coming season. So I definitely think that we'll get a thing done. It is a little suspicious and weird it's taken this long, and Palmer has come out and said publicly he hasn't had any talks, which that is kind of weird. You would expect him to have talked to him already. As far as drafting a quarterback in the draft to bring in to be to learn under Palmer that has the same type of skill set as a pocket passer, I think Tyler Bray, I really like him too. Tyler Bray, he was in the SEC, and Tennessee was competitive, and I really like Tyler Bray. He threw for about 3,600 yards, 30-something touchdowns, 12 vints. I think lower 30 touchdowns, 12 vints. He's definitely a guy that has a lot of upside. He has that vertical game mentality, which is what Oakland is. Deep ball, he has that. He has a good arm. The thing with him that is he has too much faith in his arm. But, I remember a guy that was a gunslinger in the name of Brett Favre. And I think that's the guy that he kind of reminds me of. He has that mentality, gunslinger, throw it. He has a good arm. I definitely think he's a good prospect, someone to learn under, someone that could learn under Palmer. So, if the Raiders drafted Tyler Bray, I would definitely be really happy about that. I like him. It's a lot of, this draft class isn't great. There's some free agency draft. This free agency class isn't good either. So, as far as Johnson, right, from Tampa Bay, right? He used to be Tampa Bay?
Yeah, that's him. He's with the Browns now, or was with the Browns now. Oakland, I believe he went to San Diego State, right, under Harbaugh. So, and then he was with, with the Buccaneers with John Gruden. So he's been under some good QB mentors that, definitely intrigues you. I wouldn't mind them bringing a guy like him. You said you like Vince Young. Let's say the Raiders release Carson Palmer or cut him. So now we just got Terrell Pryor. So who do we bring in to compete or back up Pryor? Vince Young, that would be really interesting, having Vince Young and Terrell Pryor on the same team. Having quarterbacks with that athletic ability would be really interesting, and to see how they would use him. But like I said, I've said this publicly a lot. I like Palmer a lot, and I believe the Raiders will do anything they could to bring him. I don't think they would just, let go of a first-rounder and a second-rounder to just have him under basically one full year. I don't see them doing that. It wouldn't be smart, in my opinion. You have to work with him.
And for any quarterback under the circumstances the team was this year, no defense, no consistency in the run game, the zone blocking scheme, you know. I didn't expect Palmer to take us to the playoffs this year with all that. And then anyone that did, you know, pretty delusional, you know, under all that stuff. So, yeah, I expect the Raiders to bring in a guy. Definitely, they should look at some guys in the draft. Wouldn't mind it at all, especially Tyler Berry, how you said. Third rounder, hopefully we get that compensation with compensation pick we should get. We should get a third rounder, hopefully. So
Pedro,
hopefully we can take a QB.
What do you think of Brandon Myers, you know, kind of being let go? Last year, he was kind of a sure-handed receiver for us at tight end. We got Osbury. You know, I think he played wide receiver at USC. You know, he has speed. He's tall. But I don't know if he can be a good blocker. Is that a good move, letting Myers go?
Well, you know, that's a toughie. I like Myers. Very dependable. He's very dependable. Only knock on him is probably his speed and his blocking. His blocking is not consistent. But he's a very dependable receiver. A receiver that, you know, Palmer liked a lot. Was always there for Palmer. Sorry. And, you know, I thought I was going to sneeze right now. And
it's live radio,
like,
Pedro.
No,
you never know what's going to happen.
Let
it go, man. Let it go.
And, you know, I think it would be a little mistake because, you know, who would take his spot? You look at free agency, there's some possibilities there. As far as Osbury goes, he won me over when he did that stiff arm last year versus the Dolphins. Man, did I get off my seat. I think it was Dansby. I don't know, but how he threw him was crazy. He won me over with that, but I mean, Osbury has a good skill set. He's got the speed, you know, played receiver at USC. He's got good hands, but pretty much the same thing as Myers, you know. He not good at blocking, but, you know, no one expected Myers to have this type of season. So, you know, if they let go of Myers and then Osbury gets the opportunity like Myers got, he could turn some heads, you know, put up some stats we didn't expect from him. So who knows? But Myers is a guy I definitely would want to try and keep, but I don't know.
You know, I agree with you, and I thought this essentially the same thing. I thought, you know, Brandon Myers is a good pass catcher. He's got a good skill set there, but he's a questionable blocker. Well, we already have that. We have that in Osbury, and he's a more athletic guy, is a faster guy. You know, so obviously, you know, if you got one and two of the same, you can afford to let one go, especially when you're in a position that the Raiders are, where they don't have a lot of money to be throwing around. And then to even capitalize on that, you got a lot of free agents going in. As we just talked about, Jared Cook Jr. is one of them. There's going to be a ton of free agents out there when it comes to the tight end position. So I don't think it's as crucial, you know, for the Raiders to not resign him. But what do you think as an overall? You know, early on when Reggie took the helm and Dennis Allen came in, everything was such a new, fresh approach compared to what we were used to, you know, with the late Al Davis. And as much as we have respect for Al Davis's history in the sport and all the, you know, all the innovation that he brought, and he truly was a maverick to the sport. But I think that, you know, if we're all going to be real with each other as Raider fans, he kind of fell off a little bit in his evaluation of talent, and really his theories on offense and defense really weren't able to grow with the way that the sport was growing. So all that said, when all these new guys came in and all this fresh approach happened, we were all really excited. I think we all expected a halfway down year for the Raiders this last year. Did we expect 4-12 and to tank and suck as bad as they did? I don't think we expected that either. So my question to you is this: Are you happy and are you pleased with what you've seen out of Reggie McKenzie last year? And so far, I know we got a long way to go in this offseason, but with the moves he's making so far in this offseason, do you think that Reggie's the guy, and even Dennis Allen for that matter, but especially McKenzie, you think the personnel moves that he's made to this point, you think he's the guy that's going to get us back to being a perennial playoff contender?
Yeah, I agree with everything about Al Davis. You know, great pioneer. game did get away from him. Stubborn mentality, this is how I want things. I believe in this. And when you have someone that old and that thing or that mentality works so good for him, he's gonna stick to that. And as far as Reggie goes, I definitely think he is a guy. He's a very smart individual. I believe he will get things going right. But last season, I knew it was gonna be a down year, like you said. A lot of people knew that. Even before the 8-8 season, one game away from the playoff finale against the Chargers. If you were a fan after that season, basically what I'm saying is, if you were a fan after the almost close to playoff season and you were looking forward to last season coming in thinking we were going to reach the playoffs, you had to have pretty high hopes, because it wasn't really credible with all the change, new regime coming in. And as soon as we hired Greg Knapp, and that zone blocking scheme, I already knew we're going to be in some trouble. We're going to have to get the new offensive lineman, get the new skill set to fit that scheme, teach him this, teach him that. Darren McFadden already has some issues, always being injured. And then under this scheme, not really good. And I already knew. I was like, oh, no. So, as far as the staff last year, I think in Dennis Allen's rookie year, he did some mistakes a rookie coach would make, of hiring. But, he has learned from that. A lot of people aren't too optimistic about Craig Olsen, but, he's an upgrade. And he's willing to work with the players' skill sets. He's had some good offenses. He's been under, the Rams, having 2 1,000-yard receivers in the team. And, he has that vertical game coming in. Reggie will get things done. I believe in him. But coming to last year, that season was pretty disappointing. Maybe you say it wasn't, and you say you didn't expect better than 4-12. You're lying. You're a liar, because 4-12.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
4-12 is not acceptable.
After going 8-8 previous years and stuff,
at all,
sweeping the AFC
I would have been
West,
okay with at least repeating 8-8, triple 8-8 years, but 4-12, nah.
Okay, hey, wait, real quick. I got one more, just something else popped into my head. What about Hugh Jackson coming off this week saying that Al Davis tried to hire him originally as a GM? Yeah, wasn't that the biggest garbage story? I'm thankful for the innovation that Hugh Jackson brought to our offense, but this guy can't keep quiet quick enough. What an idiot.
Yeah, like Hugh Jackson, he's a good coach as far as offense goes. Great mind, great football knowledge. I think he's a good vocational leader as well, but, man, that's straight bull. Coming out saying Davis offered him that, I just don't see that, Davis probably knew he was, the thing he has is, he's probably saying, oh, Davis liked me. Davis knew he was getting close to kicking the bucket. He wanted me to be the GM. He liked me a lot, whatever. But Hugh Jackson coming out and saying that is like, I'm pretty sure a lot of Raider fans and a lot of professional people in the sport of football, when Hugh Jackson said that, people were just rolling their eyes, being like, "Really, guy? Really?"
He would, Al Davis wouldn't give GM responsibilities to John freaking Gruden.
That's what I was going to say.
Not going to give it to Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't give responsibilities to John Gruden. You believe he was going to give it to Hugh Jackson? Nah. I don't think
Pedro.
So. I think you just try to get a sort of credibility for his meltdown in the press conference. With his power, he tried to say, Al Davis was giving me this power before he died anyways. That's what it all was, in my opinion.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Very good point.
Yeah. Yep. Pedro, thanks for coming on, man. We want to do our Raiders Reportare segment every week. You're welcome to call in every week and just talk about the latest goings-on with the Raiders. Again, we can find you at Pride Oakland, and then also your personal Twitter page, which is what again?
At Pedro_twice Damien, and then it's on the info page on the Pride Oakland.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate you calling in. Appreciate the insight you give us, and I look forward to talking to you next week.
Really appreciate it, guys, and sorry for talking a lot at points. I really appreciate it.
Man. That's why we have you back.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
All right,
you too,
brother.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right, listen to the Sports Degos, sportsdegos.com, Facebook/the Sports Degos. We'll be right back hitting up the news stories.
Hey, you're listening to a podcast with Sonny and Murph. They'll make you a podcast poop. Hey, you're listening to a podcast with Sonny and Murph. They'll make you a podcast poop.
All right, welcome back to Sports Degos, thesportsdegos.com. Anything we talk about, we're going to put up on the website. We can talk about it all week. You can find our Twitter, our Facebook feed there. Any previous podcast you want to listen to is there as well. We're also on Facebook /the Sports Degos. All right, Murph. Now we're coming into the meat of it. We're coming in. It's the final lap. Phillip Rivers and all of the stuff we're going to talk about is right around the corner. And Murph, I'm so excited. I may have to get another 24-ounce Miller Lite to contain my emotions.
I thought you were going to bring Christmas early and telling me that we were going to move the segment up to this part of the show.
I'm like Ron Burgundy in a glass case of emotions after Baxter was thrown over the bridge by Jack Black or whatever his name is. Anyway, Murph, I was getting a little excited yesterday. Will Ferrell, one of my favorite actors before he started making crappy movies, was saying...
You mean Land Before Lost wasn't good?
Yeah. So he says on Twitter...
Anchorman 2.
I know. He says on Twitter last night, he says, hey, I'm feeling a retweet. So I was, as the Sports Degos, sending him all sorts of my my Ron Burgundy memory bank quotes and also his Robert Goulet quotes on Conan O'Brien as well and stuff. But couldn't get a retweet, Murph. Couldn't get a retweet. I was hoping. Much love and respect to Pedro for coming on, talking to the Raiders at Pride Oakland. Check him out on Twitter. Very knowledgeable young man, and love him coming on. Murph, he kind of sounded nervous to talk to us. That's kind of funny, huh? That was cool.
I get a little nervous to talk to you once in a while.
What? Me? I mean, geez, Luis. You can only see what I'm wearing when I do this show. Moving forward, Vince Young. Murph, here's my problem with Vince Young coming back. When you don't know when someone left the league and they want to make a comeback, that kind of goes to show you how important they are. Now, I know he made the Pro Bowl one year, and he had a couple good years, and in Texas, he was the man. But man, he kind of died out, you know? Looking at his stats, in 2011 was the last year he played. He played in 6 games for Philadelphia. He was 66 completions, 114 attempts, pushing 58%, 4 touchdowns to 9 interceptions, Murph. In 2010, he played for your hometown Tennessee Titans.
Yes, he did.
1,200 yards over 9 games, 10 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions.
And
played pretty well. 2009, played in 12 games, threw for 1,800 yards, 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. But before that, gets kind of bleak. 2008, only played in 3 games. What was he, hurt that year?
Yes,
2007, the Titans played in 15 games, 9 touchdowns, 17 picks, 5 fumbles. And his first year in 2006, 12 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 6 fumbles. Murph, I remember back in 2005 when the Texas Longhorns played the UFC. I'm on my second 24 already, all right? USC Trojans, you know, Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush versus Vince Young in Texas. And Vince Young, I don't know if you remember watching that game, but Vince Young in that game, unbelievable. I had never seen a performance quite like that in college where he just took it over. You knew he was going to run in the fourth quarter, and he still did. And, it was unbelievable. Phenomenal.
You are more of a college football fan than I am, but I got to tell you, man, since I've been living in the South for the past 15 years, I've really become a fan of college football, especially SEC football. But, man, that football game, that still might be one of the best football games I've ever seen.
I would say so.
That was just
easily.
from the purity of the sport perspective. I mean, He put on an absolute show, and so did USC. They played phenomenal that game too, and it was just two heavyweights duking it out back and forth, and then for him to win the game the way he did, it was just it was amazing. That was an absolute amazing performance.
Pretty phenomenal. Came to the NFL, didn't do very well, and kind of drifted away. Jamarcus Russell also trying to make a comeback. At least Vince Young had some success and actually, played for a while. What do you think his chances are? You're in Tennessee. You've been there for a while. You kind of know a little bit more about him than I do. Do you think he has a chance? Do you think anybody's gonna take a chance on him? What's the knock on him?
Well, living here and, obviously going to Titans games and, hearing about it on sports talk radio and reading about everything firsthand and seeing the train wreck that was Vince Young, man, it was really disappointing. And so I'm going to speak about Vince Young in the past, and then I'm going to speak about what Vince Young hopefully can become.
Hurry up, so we don't get to Phillip Rivers.
Okay, I'm sorry. You and I believe in redemption. I think we as a nation and as a country believe in the redemption of people. There are plenty of instances in sports history where people have made major mistakes and then have redeemed themselves and have come back. Vince Young, absolutely talented. He was the prototype for what's going on now. He was the prototype for Cam Newton and all RG3 and all these guys. Maybe not quite the arm that some of those guys have, but certainly from a mobility perspective and from a size perspective, all those things, he was the prototype for that. It was his head is what cost him. This guy used to run up $5,000 a time at the Cheesecake Factory here in Nashville. This guy threw himself a $500,000, yes, $500,000 birthday party for himself. This guy used to go out to Dave & Buster's and drop 10 grand at a clip and tip waitresses like 8. Like, this dude blew through his money. He drank way too much and eventually went AWOL to the point to where Jeff Fisher had to go tried to find out where he was because he was making these panicked phone calls into the Titans facility saying that he had a gun and he wanted to take his own life because the fans booed him the night before. Well, Vince, quit throwing interceptions and they won't boo. But the point is, though, is that mentally, this dude was an absolute mess from just about the entire time that he was here. Jeff Fisher handled him with kid gloves and eventually got to the point to where we know NFL head coaches want to win because that's how they retain their jobs. And Jeff Fisher felt that Kerry Collins was going to get him more wins than Vince Young because of Vince Young's mental condition. So that was the Vince in the past. So that's why he fizzled out in Tennessee. That's why he got moved to Philadelphia, and that's why he was never able to secure any kind of a starting spot or compete for a job with Michael Vick in Philadelphia, was because of his mental state. Now, here comes hopefully the redemption story. Vince Young has had time to settle down. Vince Young has had everything that had been given to him taken away. He's broke. He's hungry. He needs to come back and have a successful NFL career. He's going to attend the Pro Day workout at the University of Texas. The last time he attended that workout was in 2006. This is the first time that I can remember a current NFL player who was on a roster within the past couple of years going and re-attending a Pro Day workout in order to try to get some attention. I think that he's going to get some attention. I think he's going to do a great job coming back, and as long as he can get his head right, I think this guy could be an excellent quarterback for a team, certainly be a backup somewhere, and especially speaking to our Oakland Raiders. Again, I don't know if he's the mental example you want to provide for a young guy like Terrell Pryor, but he can certainly run the same offense as Terrell Pryor. He could run the same offense as RG3 or Cam Newton or whatever, back up one of those guys. But I think that there's a spot for him in the NFL. When you look at his win-loss total, you look at his playoff record, you look at his stats, he's certainly a player in the NFL, and I wish him the absolute best. We'll see how it works.
Kobe Bryant Murph has a new nickname. We all know him as the Black Mamba. Now he's going by Vino. Vino. What does he think he is? So,
well, he didn't get it. In his defense, someone gave that to him.
Yeah. So as far as I know, how we got that name was because they were saying he ages like wine. You know, wine, if it ages, it's better. and they're saying Kobe Bryant's getting better as he ages. Do you buy that? Here's the thing I know about Kobe. He's great. He's great, had his mishaps and stuff, and the stuff with his girl and all that kind of stuff back in the day. And he won championships, with Shaq, without Shaq, yada, yada, yada. He's on Twitter now a whole lot more than he's ever been before. Maybe he's prepping for a new career after basketball. Is he truly getting better with age?
I don't know if he's getting better. I mean, he had, one of the all-time greats in Phil Jackson coaching him. He had, a couple of all-time greats as partners in Los Angeles. He's had some good teams around him. He's had some not so good teams around him. We've talked before about what we thought, where Kobe ranks as far as comparison to Michael Jordan and to LeBron James and all that. And I certainly think that he's in that conversation, but I don't know if he's getting better. I think that he's getting different. And what I mean by that is Kobe's really taking an I don't give a crap mentality with the media and with his critics, and he's taking it and he's vocal about it. And that's something that Kobe was a lot more introverted before, early on in his career. Maybe not introverted, but he was less apt to really push things forward. He was really to have open other than the stuff maybe with Shaq. He was pretty open when it came to that stuff, but he wasn't really, I just think he's got a whole bunch of I don't give a crap, and he knows his team isn't that great, but he still is. And, while he may have lost a step, he was still 3 steps ahead of anybody else. So he's still great. Is he getting better? I don't think he's getting better, but I think it's kind of funny. I think someone on Twitter popped that over to him and said, hey, Kobe, you should change your nickname to Vino, and he liked it, and so he retweeted it and stuff, and so it kind of gained some traction. But, yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. Black Mamba's a really cool nickname, too. I really like that nickname. But, yeah, Vino's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Here's the thing. Kobe Bryant played basketball in Italy as a youngster because his dad, he's nicknamed a wine. Wine's often associated with Vino. Am I going to be a Kobe fan now? I hope not. No, but here's the deal.
No, because it's not peach Vino.
Yeah, shut your mouth.
Sally.
His lifetime field goal percentage average is 0.5 or 0.454. So you round down, 0.45%, 45%. He's shooting field goal percentage, right? This year, thus far, through about 62 games, he's hitting 0.475. So he's hitting close to 48% of his shots. That's almost 50% of your field goals. That's pretty beast.
That's pretty
the highest. Man. That's the highest he's ever hit. It looks like the closest he ever got was back in 08-09 when he was shooting 01-02 when he was .469. So, based on field goal percentage, he's doing better. Black Mamba, Vino.
Let me jump in too. And he's more of a perimeter player now than he was back then. So this isn't Kobe playing inside and driving in the paint. This is Kobe sitting back and sticking 10, 12, 14 footers too. So I think that's also pretty impressive to not only have that kind of a shooting percentage, but to have changed his game much like Michael Jordan did and still retain those high numbers.
Murph, can you guess the top 5 best nicknames, by one guy? I'm looking at a list here on Yahoo by Rick Soasan, something like that. Back in December of 2012, he listed the 5 greatest nicknames.
All right.
Can you name any of them? Give me one.
Well, I'm not gonna look it up. I'm gonna keep this honest here. I won't look up what article you're looking at, but I did, knowing we were going to be talking about nicknames, I did write down some of my favorite nicknames in the history of sports, and I'll kind of go. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I got my 10. So I'll work backwards in order.
Murph, we got to get to Phillip Rivers.
Oh my gosh, that Phillip, he's killing us. All right, Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound. Awesome nickname.
Not on this list. That's a good one.
All right, John Wooden, the Wizard of Westwood.
Not on this list, but that's a good one too.
Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt.
Come on, give me some good ones here.
Big Poppy.
Negative.
Wow. Clyde the Glide Drexler.
As much as I like that guy because I'm a Blazers fan, no, not on this list.
Here's a killer nickname, Mr. October.
One of my all-time favorites, and I gotta think this could be one of the best. Not on this list.
Alan, the answer, Iverson.
Please, no.
Answer. That's awesome. The answer.
It's okay.
That's awesome.
It's okay.
All right.
What are we talking about, Murph? The answer? We're talking about the answer? Come on,
talking
Murph.
about the question.
We're talking about the answer? Come on, Murph.
This sport that I live and die for. Okay. Last three. Number 3. Beast mode. Hominig.
No. Guy hasn't even been playing that long. Come on.
Beast
That's
mode,
weak.
dude. That's a nice
That's
nickname.
weak.
Beast mode. All right. Number 2. Reggie White, the Minister of Defense. Get down.
Negative.
That's
Negative.
awesome.
Not even on this list. Not
The
even
Minister
close.
of Defense. If you know Reggie White as a man and as a football player,
we know. We get it. We get it.
I'm
we
not.
get
No,
it.
I'm
Keep
not
going.
preaching to you. I'm just saying that's. All right.
Keep going.
And my number 1, and it's only number 1 because of who we are and what we love and what we believe in. But
Let me take a wild guess.
Close. You're gonna guess close. I know what you're gonna guess. Go.
It's either the snake or the ghost.
Very, very close. I knew you were going to get close. The snake, the ghost, and Twos for John Matuzak are absolutely phenomenal Raider nicknames. But
Tatum.
yes, it's not just one guy, it's 3 guys. Collectively, they were known as the Soul Patrol, an awesome nickname. Dr. Death, the Assassin, and George Hitman Atkinson. That is the absolute most badass nicknames in the history of sports. Go Raiders. Ah!
I would agree. Enough said. I don't even want to read you my list. It was stupid. Well, let's just move forward here. Murph, Golf Boys. This video came out about a year ago. They came out with one. Came out with another one 4 days ago. And I think it's already over 1 million views on YouTube. Pretty dang funny. It's a different look on golf, right? You know, when Tiger came on, he changed the game. Longer, stronger, hit the ball longer and stuff. Just annihilated the field. Guys adjusted. Now you got these young guys coming up, and they're bringing not just a different golf game, but personality to golf. When for so long, gentlemen only, ladies forbidden, that golf was this respectable, not that it isn't respectable, but it was this prestigious, only the rich people played it, and it was very, manner-like and couth and whatever it else is there and stuff, Tiger gets on, more people start playing, Saturday golfers, now all of a sudden I'm a golfer, setting my beer can down on the green while I make my putt and stuff, so like, golf is taking a new direction. And now you got these guys like Bubba Watson, who won the Masters, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but he won the Masters. And this guy is on this video in overalls, shirtless, chest hair to the wind. I mean, I'm loving it. And making this video. I mean, is this good for golf? Is it what golf needs? This major overhaul of these young guys inflicting some personality in what's otherwise been a boring sport to watch, like what would you rather do? Watch paint dry or watch golf, right? But now you got these guys coming out making these videos and stuff, and I don't know about you, but I love it, man. I'm a big fan.
I absolutely love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's a shot in the arm to the sport. I think that you hit it on the head, that Tiger started it. When Tiger first started coming up, it was the first time we started hearing people yelling at, you could turn on any golf tournament now and you hear, get the hole, as soon as the guy hits the ball. I mean, and all that stuff started with Tiger having the loud gallery, and I think that this is it's a super fun thing. It adds a really cool amount of personality to an individual sport. So we're not talking about, 3 or 4 guys on a team going out and showing out like this. We're talking about the guys that play in an individual sport, demonstrating their individuality. I think that it's awesome. I think it's great for the game. And, man, the Masters is already one of my all-time favorite sporting events to watch. I got to tell you, now with Ben Cranes or any of these other guys are in contention, I'm certainly going to be tuning in to watch them too. And Bubba Watson, let me say this. He's got the biggest balls of like anybody right now. The guy, like you said, is shirtless with his button up and it's only just a collar. It's awesome. And he's drinking like diet soda, getting Mentoed out of a bottle. He's crazy.
Love it.
Golf Boys, Maine.
Got some hot wings at Stuart Applebee's. Oh, I want to win so Aaron batted lead. My ball hit the trees and it bounced on the green. Man, he got off so Adams got free.
I love where that sport's going. I love that it's becoming more popular because it's a fun sport. I love golf. If I break 100, I'm happy. You know, it's a fun sport to play, and I think these guys are only going to get more people playing the sport. Transfer that thought to collegiate football. My beloved Oregon State Beavers, Murph. I'm a huge fan. Go to every home game. I've traveled. I've done death runs to the Palouse at Washington State. I've gone down to Autzen. I hate that place. I've gone up to Husky Stadium and watched games. Love the Beavers. Love what they stand for. They unveiled some new uniforms this week, Murph, and I don't like it. They're the reason, and this was what the director said, the AD director. He said 3 words are why they did this: recruiting, recruiting, recruiting. And I get it, I understand, but I gotta say I don't like it. And it's not just Oregon State; it's collegiate sports in general. It's flash, it's flump, it's flair, whatever flump is, you know. But it's attract. It's a new word. That's I just made up a new word. Tune in to Sports Degos every week. You'll learn some new vocabulary. It's just like, you know, let's appeal to kids. Kids like flash, and they don't have to look any further than 30 minutes south in Eugene because it's work there, right? I mean, everybody knows about the uniforms at University of Oregon. You know, kids are coming there. They're going there in droves because Nike backs them, and they know they're going to get gear. So why not? You know, what are you going to do? Go play school in the Midwest? Or go play school at University of Oregon with state-of-the-art facilities, state-of-the-art clothes, state-of-the-art uniforms, and get a bunch of swag? I mean, why not, right? So, you know, I know Oregon State's following that same line. Phil Knight, I believe his wife, graduated from Oregon State, so he's already a big Oregon State, you know, booster. I think he paid Pat Casey's salary, the Oregon State baseball coach, who, by the way, I think are ranked number 4 in the nation right now. I don't know. Yeah, they look cool. Yeah, they're, you know, flashy and stuff. But is this what college sports is? Is it, hey, come to our school, not because we'll give you a good education and you get a chance to go on and do something with your life, but come to our school because we have flashy uniforms. Like, am I wrong for thinking that? Am I on this like utopian perfect world kind of thing? And should I quit it or what?
Well, I wouldn't say that you're living in a perfect utopian world, but I think that your opinion could be a little slated due to the ongoing, long storied, heated rivalry between your Oregon State Beavers and the Oregon Ducks, who really kind of started this thing. I mean, they're the ones that, you know, with the backing of Nike, obviously, really started this push towards these flashy, crazy, wild uniforms, these things that were going to separate themselves from the rest of the NCAA, you know, and not only were they doing it with their uniforms, but they were taking out ads in Times Square. You know, Oregon did a lot of what I think are really innovative things to separate themselves to be able to gain those prize recruits because, frankly, they weren't going to be able to do it on the school's merit alone. So all that said, I think that you might be a little bitter towards that, but it's understandable. And but I think that it's becoming less and less of a your coach, and I forget his name. Your
Mike
coach
Riley.
said, Mike Riley said it's a recruit grab. We're doing this because we want to gain the attention of recruits, and I think that ultimately that says it all. But it's becoming less of, while as cool as it was, and I thought, oh, those are kind of neat looking and those are kind of fun. It's the norm now. Every school is doing this. I think Under Armour did one for Maryland last year, for the University of Maryland, where they're headquartered.
Did you see those uniforms?
Oh my gosh,
that was atrocious.
They were
atrocious.
Oh, they were awful looking,
horrible,
absolutely awful. And so or have you seen the uniforms that Nike has done for the March Madness teams, for the teams that are going to make the NCAA tournament?
Yeah.
They look like Zumba pants. I mean, they're awful looking.
Ridiculous.
But that's and Notre Dame had their uniforms this year, and I don't know, man. I don't. Some of them look cool, some of them don't. But I think that
it's the nature of the beast. I think
it is, and until they figure out a way to come up with a way to compensate these guys, that's going to be the only edge that they're going to have. We'll see how Johnny Football's corporation works out for him. We'll see if that ends up, if that other thing ends up working. We may be seeing we may be on the front end of seeing these athletes finally be getting compensated. But anyways, until that happens, that's really the only thing that the universities can do for the guys that are going there to be athletes. Because let's be honest about it. There's certain guys that are going to these schools. They don't give half a crap about their education. All they want to do is be seen on Saturday so they can be seen then on Sunday after 3 years.
Josh, moving forward real quick. Josh Murph. You have many nicknames. Tom Wright. I don't want to spend too much time on him. Can a 54-year-old knuckleballer who can deadlift 500 pounds, who can clean and jerk 230, can he actually play pro ball and pitch as a knuckleballer?
Yes. Will he? No. And, I think it's a kind of a fun story to watch. And really, to me, though, the stories within the story, does a knuckleball have to go 80? No. So do you have to just have a bunch of movement on it and be able to throw it consistently over the plate? Yeah, that's really what a knuckleball is. And you could do that at a lot of different ages. Ask R.A. Dickey. I mean, look at the level of success that guy had last year. So can it happen? Yeah. But will it happen? No. I mean, there's no Major League Baseball team that's going to sign this guy to a Major League contract. It's not going to happen. He'll probably dip around in the minor leagues a little bit. He's going to be a liability in a lot of other ways other than just the fact that he can throw a knuckleball. But the story within the story, you got to watch the video. And I'll post the link on our Facebook page. You got to watch the video. It is so dang funny watching this thing. It's the most cheesily produced video you could possibly see.
It's horrible.
Including have you watched it? Including the
I watched it this morning.
Including the training portion set to John Fogerty's center field.
Put me in, coach.
Oh my gosh! And like half of the lifting that he's doing is like from 1988.
And it's like a pool or something. It's horrible.
All of a sudden you see him. He's like 25 years old. He's got a mullet and he's doing bench press. I'm like,
it's atrocious.
Oh my god, it's so funny. So, anyways, I'll throw that video up there. Check out that video. It's pretty fun to watch. But I think that's really the only story is that. And really, Tom Wright. When you brought this story to my attention, at first I didn't recognize it, and then I started looking around a little bit. This guy's been doing it for a long time. There's a story of 54-year-old Tom Wright trying to get into Major League Baseball. There's a story of 53-year-old Tom Wright trying to get into Major League Baseball. There's a story of 52-year-old Tom Wright. Going all the way back literally to like he was 50. Like this guy's been doing it for years. So no, I don't think he's going to make it, but watch the video. You'll get a kick out of it.
Yeah. We'll post it on thesportsdegos.com. All right, Murph, we're here. Oh my gosh, I am stoked. I don't even know where to begin.
Go fast.
Oh, okay. Let me catch my breath. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment for such a long time. I started a sports podcast just to talk about this man, and oh crap, Murph. I didn't realize it, but the draft for our Madden Football League is starting now. So I hate to disappoint you, but we're not going to be able to get to Phillip Rivers.
Oh,
I know, man.
Oh man,
kind of stinks.
Can we make, maybe we can use this as a positive, and maybe we could use this to kindle the next evolution of the sports Degos, and maybe we'll come up with the Rivers Degos, or maybe can we do a sidebar podcast on Phillip Rivers?
Maybe we can start.
I want to miss our draft.
Rivers repertoire.
Rivers repertoire.
Strictly on Phillip Rivers. That'd be great. Maybe Peyton Manning from time to time. I mean,
let's knock it out of the park and let's go Elway, Manning, Rivers,
Murph. I love your thinking.
And a Lenny Dawson perspective.
We're not that good. We can't do that.
can't honor the name of Len Dawson. We couldn't do it.
Oh, maybe even throwing Franco Harris or Tom Brady. Oh, it'd be amazing. I feel like I'm getting a tongue massage when I say those names. It'd be phenomenal. But Murph, right now, man, we gotta go. Won't just don't have time. So I hate to disappoint all our Raider faithful listeners and everybody out there listening who's expecting to talk about Phillip Rivers. No one, and hear my heart here, no one is more disappointed than I am that we don't get a chance to talk about Phillip Rivers tonight. So Murph,
Sad day.
Sad day. Jay Stu leaves Jim Rome, and we don't get a chance to cover Phillip Rivers. Tough day for sports fans across the board. Thanks
friend
for
of the show. Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Jay Stu. We'll get him into what we talked about with him not too distant future. Murph, appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you co-hosting. Thanks to Pedro at Pride Oakland. Check him out on Twitter. We are the Sports Degos. Facebook.com/the Sports Degos. You can also find us at thesportsdegos.com. We're also on Twitter at the Sports Degos. Murph,
Hey, before we go.
Any last words?
Yes, last words. Currently trending worldwide on Twitter. Steph Curry and Golden State. Come on.
There we go. Steph Curry holding it down for NoCal because we're not fans of SoCal. All right, we'll be back next week. Next Saturday night, Sports Degos. Tune in, listen live, catch us on the podcast. Where are we on, Murph? Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube. We're all over the place. And we still only got 3 people who listen to us.
Yeah, we're not hard to find, but apparently we haven't been found.
We're like Waldo.
Waldo, man. We're like
Bigfoot, man. Yeah, we're like Bigfoot. We're Sasquatch. The Sasquatch Degos.
We are a couple of Sasquatches, no doubt.
The Sasquatch Dego. Well, we got as much hair as a Sasquatch does. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take over the world.
We're taking over.